Okay guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at object pronouns. More specifically, we're going to be looking at direct object pronouns. Indirect object pronouns I'm dealing with in another video because it's quite a big topic, so I've decided to split it into two. But do check out this video before you start looking at indirect object pronouns. There's some good news and some not so great news. The not so great news is quite a difficult concept to get your head around, but the good news is that once you've got your head around it, it's actually really easy to use, and it's a great way of making your Spanish sound that much more interesting, that much more Spanish-like, and indeed just a richer grammatical vocabulary, if you will, and it's just a much higher level of Spanish. So bear with me as we go through this. It is going to be difficult, so feel free to pause it at any point and rewind if you don't understand, or fast forward if you're in a rush, or whatever it is. And don't panic if you don't get it straight away. Like anything in life, it does take a bit of practice to get used to it, but it's well worth the effort to come out the other side with an ability to do direct object pronouns. Okay, so we're going to look at two parts of the direct object pronouns today. We're going to look at when to use them and then how to form them. But first off, we'll look at when to use them. It's quite complicated grammatical terms that we're going to be using, but don't worry. Fernando's here to help. We're here to make it easy. We're here to make sure that you understand this by the end. So you go at your own pace, you go at your own rate, and if you don't understand it, like I said, rewind or even leave a comment or a question at the end, and I'll see if I can help. So yeah, don't worry, I'm going to take you through it step by step. So a direct object pronoun is a pronoun that replaces the noun that is directly affected by the verb. Don't panic. I'm going to take you through what it means. So you may be thinking that's where you are currently, or you may have understood it pretty clearly. Either way, it's not going to hurt for us to go through it bit by bit to make sure you really understand, because this here really is when you use direct object pronouns. So a direct object pronoun replaces the noun. So the noun is just a naming word, a person, a place, or a thing. So the giraffe, for example, a chair, toe, I don't know, branch. All of these are naming words, so that's the noun. So it's replacing the noun, the naming word, that is directly affected by the verb. What do we mean by verb? Well, very simply, verb is a doing word, like to run, to eat, to sleep, to listen to. All of these are doing words, okay? Hopefully that's a little bit clearer, but don't worry, I'm going to give you an example in English so we can see it in action. So, for example, I eat the giraffe. So we're looking for a noun that is directly affected by the verb. So the giraffe in this sentence is the noun, because the giraffe is the naming word, it's the person, the place, or the thing. In this case, it's an animal. So that's the noun. So what's the verb? Well, the verb is I eat, because it's a doing word. Yeah, you are eating. It's an action word. It's a doing word. So in this first sentence, we've got verb and noun. So in the second sentence, we have verb and direct object pronoun, because can you see this it here? This it has replaced the giraffe. So we're not saying I eat the giraffe, I eat the giraffe. We're saying I eat the giraffe, I eat it. Now, you use direct object pronouns all the time in English. All the time, guys. I can't even begin to describe how often you use them, and you don't realize you're doing it. Obviously, when you're learning a foreign language, you have to become a lot more aware of it, because even though it's not a super difficult thing to form and understand, it is different to English. But you use them all the time, okay, guys? So it is a great concept to have, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be some way on the journey of learning direct object pronouns. So hopefully, feel free to copy this slide or print it off or download it or whatever it is. It'll be quite a good slide to have, because it tells you when we use our direct object pronouns. Hopefully we're a bit of a smiley face next to when to use them, so we can move on to how to form them. So how to form them is super duper easy. The problems that most people have is not when to use them or indeed how to form them, it's where to place them in the sentence. But don't worry, we'll go through that as well. So how to form them. Nice table here to give you the English equivalent and the Spanish equivalent. So in English, it's me, as in I punch Fernando, I punch me. And in Spanish, it's spelled exactly the same way, but it's not me, it's me. Okay? You, singular. In English, we don't distinguish between the singular and the plural, singular and plural forms of you, but in Spanish we do, and in Spanish the singular is te. He, she, or it is lo or la. We will talk about that in a minute. Don't worry, it'll all be explained. We have the lo for masculine, he or it, and the la for feminine, she or it. Okay? Sorry, for she or feminine, it. Us is nos. You, plural, is os. So you can see there is a distinction between the you singular and you plural in Spanish. The you singular is te, you plural is os. And then, of course, them, which is los or las. And well done if you guessed it. Los for masculine plural, las for feminine plural. So really the ones to watch out for are lo and la, los and las, because they agree depending on the gender as well as the number, whereas the rest are all the same regardless if it's masculine or feminine me that you're talking about. It's always me, te, nos and os. So the ones you just need to keep an eye on are lo and la and los and las. So me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. That again would be a good table to get a copy of somewhere. By the way, I'm going to be referring to direct object pronouns as d.o.ps or d.o.ps because it's just so much easier than saying direct object pronouns every single time. So we've got a nice grid there. Feel free to make a copy of it. Look how lovely I am making it for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take apart the lola, los, and las, just so you understand it. So there's nothing new that I'm showing you here. I'm just giving you a bit of a clearer indication of the meaning of lo and los and las and la. So here we go. So in masculine, so if the thing that you are talking about is masculine, so if it's he or if it's it, it's lo. Okay? So here it isn't just replaced by the simple lo. And if it's plural masculine, so them in English, it's los. Feminine is la in Spanish and las for the plural version. You can see lo, los, la, las. In English, them is just them, them. It doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine. You can see it doesn't change. And for the English, the singular, it's he or she or it or it. Because remember, our nouns don't have genders, but they do in Spanish. So all you need to know is that when you are replacing the noun in Spanish, if you are replacing it and it needs to be an it, just think, is the noun a masculine noun, a feminine noun, or a plural masculine, plural feminine? Okay? This would also be a good little slide to print off because it's quite clear and quite useful. So hopefully you've understood that. If you have understood it, feel free to move on. If you haven't, go back again and listen to my dulcet tones and see if it can help you get to where we need to be for the next step, which is how to form them. And you might have a bit of a confused smiley face, so you're sort of understanding how to form them, but you're not super confident. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at them in action, and we're going to look at, more importantly, their position in sentences. Okay, so remember, with your direct object pronouns, and indeed indirect object pronouns, positioning is everything. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, but don't worry, like the previous bit that we've done, I will take you through it step by step. So there are three main rules. These are just the main rules for the positioning of object pronouns. I've tried to simplify it down as much as I can. There are a few more rules, but don't worry, they're nothing that you need to worry about just yet. So in a nutshell, object pronouns go. 1, before the verb. 2, after the negative. And 3, attached to the end, or indeed before, compound tenses. This would be a good slide to print off, and I'm going to take you through step by step as to the positioning of pronouns. So what do I mean by before the verb, after the negative, etc.? Don't worry, we'll look at lots of examples until you are super duper confident. So number 1, before the verb. So the direct object pronoun goes before the conjugated verb. If you're not sure what a conjugated verb is, go back and watch the video on the present tense. If you're not sure what a verb is, go back to the beginning of this video and it's explained to you. So conjugated, remember, is when you've changed it from the infinitive form, so the to eat form, into the we eat form. Yeah, that's what the conjugated means. So the example I've given you here is we watch them. Them, look, it's all color-coded because I'm super duper clever and to make it easier for you. So we've got them, which is our DOP. We've got we watch, which is our conjugated verb. So in Spanish, well done, if you guessed it, it's not miramos los, which is what it is in English. We watch them, verb, direct, d.o.p. In Spanish, it goes d.o.p, verb. So can you see verb, d.o.p, d.o.p. verb. So we watch, miramos, them, los. So in Spanish, they actually say them, we watch. Whereas in English, we say watch, we watch, them. Nice and easy, so the d.o.p. goes before the conjugated verb. Los miramos, okay? That'd be a good slide to make a note of somewhere. So, I feel pretty confident that we can cross number 1 off. Let's have a look at number 2 after the negative. So with negative sentences, that means instead of saying we watch them, we're saying we don't watch them. So with negative sentences, the d.o.p. goes before the conjugated verb and after the negative word, which is just a fancy way of saying that. So in English, we have we don't watch them. In Spanish, no los miramos. It's not los no miramos or no miramos los. It's no plus your d.o.p. plus your conjugated verb. So no los miramos. Nice and clear. So to say we watch them is los miramos. To say we don't watch them, no los miramos. Assuming, by the way, that the them that we're talking about is masculine. Okay? So it could be no las miramos, but we've gone with no los here. Hopefully that's nice and confident. And that means we can cross off the second one. So let's have a look now at the third one. So attached to the end or before compound tenses. Don't panic, I will explain to you now. So, with two verbs together, so it's not just for compound tenses, it's for two verbs together as well. The direct object pronoun goes before the first verb or attached to the end of the second verb. So basically, you can't split them. So let's look at I am going to bite you. Voy a morder, I am going to bite. Te voy a morder. So you can see you've got the te at the beginning of the, this is what I mean by the first conjugated verb or the first verb. That's our direct object pronouns. So we put it before the first conjugated verb, okay? Or, voy a morder te. So you can see the te sits before the voy, so before the first conjugated verb, or indeed attached to the end of the infinitive. Doesn't matter which one, there are regional differences in Spain and indeed the wider Spanish-speaking world. Both are perfectly acceptable, both are grammatically fine, and both are understood. It's whichever you prefer using whichever way. The important thing to note is it's not voy te a morder. So look, the te doesn't split up these two verbs. They stay together like best buds. So you can either stick it at the beginning or stick it at the end. If you stick it at the end, you have to attach it to the infinitive. So te voy a morder, I'm going to bite you, or voy a morderte, I'm going to bite you. Either way is fine. So let's have a look at what I meant by two verbs that aren't necessarily compound tenses. So I want to eat it. Quiero comer, I want to eat, okay? And just like up here, we don't split the verbs up. So it's quiero comerlo or lo quiero comer. It is never quiero lo comer, okay? So quiero comerlo, lo quiero comer. So look, it's at the end attached to the infinitive or at the very beginning before the first verb that we conjugate. Okay? The reason, by the way, it's comer is you wouldn't say in English, I want, I eat, because if you look here in English, we have the infinitive to eat, because you've already got one conjugated verb. So if your first verb is conjugated, your second verb is in the infinitive. So that's why it's quiero comer and not quiero como, because that would be I want, I eat, which doesn't make sense. So it's quiero comer. And look, again, the important thing about this rule number 3, is it goes at the beginning, or indeed it goes attached to the infinitive at the end, attached to the infinitive at the end there. Nice and easy. Okay. So hopefully we can cross off those three rules as to when object pronouns go. Now, if you are not really confident about this, if you're still a bit confused, go back to the beginning of this section and go through it again, taking your time, maybe doing a couple of practice sentences by yourself, and just give yourself some time to work through it and to let it all sink in. It would be really good to make notes about this because the rules are quite specific as to when to use it, and it would be good if you had a copy of them. Excuse me. If you had a copy of them somewhere. But if you are happy and you are feeling fairly confident, let's move on. So, what we're going to do now is we've looked at how to form them, so we're going to look at a couple of sentences examples here. So, To do this properly, you will need to access wordreference.com. It's a free online bilingual dictionary. Just type in wordreference, all one word.com, and use that to get some of the vocab like television, error message, etc., etc., hamster, giraffe. Great website to use, and go and use that. Now would be a good time to pause the video if you're feeling confident with it and you want to get on with this mini test, because this mini test, by the way, is just testing to see how much you've understood and how much you've, sort of inwardly taken on board, I suppose is the best way of saying it, what we've covered on direct object pronouns. If you're not feeling super confident, what I'm going to do in a sec is I'm going to take you through the first one. So I will do the first one as an example and I'll take you through it. And then obviously at the end there will be the answers and you can see how well you've done. Like I said before, don't be afraid to go back through and read this, look at this again, and please feel absolutely free to ask me any questions by leaving me a comment in the video below, and I'll see, a comment in the section below, and I'll see how best I can help you understand this a bit better. So what we're going to do now is going to look at the first one. So I've color coded it, and I've color coded it, and I've broken it down section by section so you can see what each individual word is doing. So the first word, I watch, miro, nice and easy, I watch, miro. It's from the verb mirar, which means to watch. Television, la televisión, okay? I watch it, so I watch is miro, and it, can you have a guess as to where the it, first off, what the it is going to be and where it's going to go? Well done if that's what you guessed, okay? So la miro, not miro la. It goes d.o.p. plus conjugated verb. In English, it goes conjugated verb, I watch, plus your d.o.p. It. In Spanish, it's the other way around. Why is it la? So you can see that la is the it. Well, the la, we know it's a la and not a lo, because the la here, this la comes from the la televisión, which is feminine, which is why it's la miro, okay? Because remember, there are two ways to say it in Spanish, lo or la, and you need to figure out if the noun that you're replacing with a direct object pronoun, so the it come from a masculine noun or a feminine noun, and in this case, la televisión tells us it's a feminine noun, so it's la miro. Okay. So now take the opportunity to do the other 6 by yourself. Take your time and go at your own pace. If you need to go back and check over more stuff, go back and check over more stuff. If you want to carry on doing it, just carry on working through it, and in a couple of minutes, sorry, not in a couple of minutes, once you've unpaused the video, we will go through the answers. Okay, so now would be a good time to pause the video and have a go at these 7 sentences. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully this is what you got. Hopefully this is what you got. It's fairly self-explanatory as to what's going on. Yeah, all the bits in purple are the d.o.p.s, and they've all replaced certain nouns. Okay, hopefully that's what you got. If it is what you got, well done. Fluffy ponies and cute rabbits, you have done it. Well done, amigo. It's a very difficult concept that you've just got your head around. If you are not feeling 100% confident, please go back and have another look at this again. And like anything in life, the more you practice it, the easier it's going to get. But from now, for me, and from Fernandito, it's well done to all of you, and it's a massive Fernando high five from us. So well done from all of us, and adios. Yay!